everybody, this is Jean Truelove here from Truelove Quilts for You. If you're new, you'll see that I'm not in my sewing room, I am in my front room. A little precursor to a tutorial that is coming up that I have been telling you about, a mock cathedral windows quilt pillow, just a small pillow. I've been telling you about it for a while and you're probably like, where the heck is the tutorial? But I just wanted to back up a little bit. Most of you who have been following me have known that over the weekend, this past weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I had 2 quilts accepted into a quilt show. The Pennsylvania, the PA Quilt National Quilt Extravaganza out in Oaks, Pennsylvania at the Greater Expo Center. I'm not beating a dead horse here. I'm not going on about it. But I think you would be very interested. I wanted to share this with you. I received my quilts back from the quilt show, which ended on yesterday. And they were lovely, neatly packed in the box that I had sent them in and everything. There's specific instructions on how to pack up the quilts, which I did, and they sent it back, blah, blah, blah. So, but with my quilts sent back to me, which were accepted, it is into the quilt show. Back when I had to pay, I believe it was $23 or $25 to send an entry form with my photographs of my 2 quilts. I sent 2 quilts in with photographs, and then they either accept it or not. I was accepted into the quilt show. Now, with my quilts, I had entered a quilt, my Charlotte my Elephant, in the springtime. The same company, Mancuso, and I had received back with my quilt returned to me, a program book, and my name is in amongst all of the exhibitors on this page. I think I showed you that way back then for Cheryl my Elephant. I was all excited. Well, yesterday I opened up my package and I went to put my quilts away, and in the package, oh, there's a little iron-on label. My quilt was exhibited, George judged and exhibited. That's lovely. I had 2 of them because I had 2 quilts. In my little package here, my book, I got, which was really very interesting. I got basically a report card. My quilts, Cheryl my Elephant wasn't. These 2 quilts that I will show you, my Patty C and my Color Madness quilt, were obviously judged by 2 judges, and I won't say their names because this is it, Marjan Kupfel, and Susan Edmondson. These are quilt judges that have judged my 2 quilts. Now, this quilt, I'll do this one first, my Patty C. As you know, should be a little bit more organized here. But my 2 quilts, Patty C and my Color Madness, this is my Patty C quilt. You've seen it a million times. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Pretty, pretty, pretty quilt, right? Lovely quilt. It was a collage quilt. I put doll hair on her, blah, blah, blah. You saw me making this quilt last year. Now, I was saying, I had said all along, I think this is a very good quilt. I think it's a really nice quilt. And lots of you people have commented on the last few videos of seeing my quilts in the quilt show that, oh, Jean, you should have won a medal, a ribbon, it's so good, you should have been best of show. And I say in all due humility, hopefully, that I shouldn't have won a medal. I shouldn't have won a ribbon. And my quilts are good. They're not great. And I have adoring people as you are who say, oh no, they're wonderful, they're wonderful. I've said all along, I make really nice quilts. And I'm thrilled, beyond thrilled, that my quilts were accepted. This, however, reiterates in a non-emotional, non-sentimental, very objective, very criteria ridden way of why my quilt absolutely does not deserve a ribbon. And I thought this was fascinating. My husband and I went over it, and I had been telling my husband, especially with this quilt and my next, my Color Madness, which I will show you, I didn't think it was good enough to go into a quilt show. Is it pretty? Yes. Is it striking? Yes. Is it different? Yes. Is it eye-catching? Absolutely. Is it constructed to the standard of a really good, excellent quilt in a quilt show? No. And that is because I'm not striving for perfection. I'm not a perfectionist. There's an expression in quilting, finished is better than perfect. I belong to a Facebook group, and quite a few people, when people say that, I'd finish my quilt, quite a few quilters will say, oh, that really annoys me. If you're going to do a job, you might as well do it right, which is absolutely 100% correct. You want to do a job, do it right. If doing a job for that particular quilter or those particular quilters means perfection, awesome, so be it. Fantastic. I was reading an article about a quilt winner, a masterpiece quilt winner who won, I don't know if it was best of show, but she was very careful what lead pencil she used for the line, the width of her pencil marking, to get the one stitch closest to that pencil marking. Awesome. Fantastic. That is not how I quilt. And you've seen that is not how I quilt. And I can whip quilts out. I am very, very quick. And perhaps that's my problem. Because on my report card, not my problem. No, not my problem. My thing. That's my thing. And I make a very pretty quilt. I made a very pretty quilt. Getting to my report card. Judged absolutely spot on. I've been to enough quilt shows, and if you have been to quilt shows, even if you saw my quilt, you're very kind saying it needed to win a ribbon, because it didn't. It's not constructed nearly as good as the winners. Absolutely. And I'm not looking for compliments. Please, I am not. I have made a very pretty quilt. But this was very fascinating. This is my entry form number 1024, Patty C. And it's from the Pennsylvania Quilt Extravaganza. And I was in the innovative quilt category. And there is E for excellent, V for very good, G for good, S for satisfactory, N needs improvement, and A not applicable. Just like a report card. So the design of my quilt for artistic impression and graphic impact was an S, satisfactory, to G. That I thought I could have gotten a V. I thought I could have gotten a very good, because I thought she was a lot of impact and a lot of visual graphic, what you see. So that I sort of thought, I only got satisfactory, but that's okay. These are experts. And whatever makes a quilt judge expert is fascinating. I've gone on, before I started to make this little video, I went on YouTube to sort of see interviews with quilt judges and what they look for. So apparently the quilt judges thought it was just a satisfactory to good artistic impression. I thought it was very good. However, I agree. I absolutely agree with every single thing else they say. The use of the design pattern in the quilt top, the balance, proportion, and scale, is good. G. The use of color and fabric, pressing, value, scale, G. The degree of difficulty, S, satisfactory. Now, if you saw me making this, I pretty much I cut out fabrics, I glued it, and I free motion quilted it. Not a heck of a lot of, as you can see, look at my tutorials. If you know how to work your way around a machine, and if you know how to wield a glue stick and put colors together, it's satisfactory. The innovation and creativity was good. My workmanship for piecing, applique, quilting technique, and finishing was satisfactory. Now, the judges' comments where the petticoats were very unique and creative, very encouraging. And I love the collection of flowers on the edges. That's my critique by these two judges. Very lovely, encouraging, and positive, and absolutely everything about my report card is spot on. I make nice, good quilts. I do not make show-worthy, no, I do not make ribbon-worthy quilts at this point in my life. Could I? Absolutely, I think I could. Do I want to at this point in my life? Maybe. Maybe in my head, I could work on a quilt a longer time and really take my time and making it perfect as opposed to quickly finished. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that, because at the end of the day, I see a very pretty quilt. You see a very pretty quilt. The judges see a very pretty quilt. But I have to dispel the kind, wonderful comments. I jokingly said you all needed to be the judges. This needed to win a ribbon. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. My binding is machine stitched on. I stitch it to the back, I machined it to the front. Totally not quilt show ribbon worthy. Absolutely not. I pretty much round my corners, as you know. It's sort of a no-no in the quilt world. That's fine with me. I love my rounded corners. I will continue to round my corners. And I was very surprised, and again, I'm not searching for compliments, that she was accepted. Because even to my experienced quilter's eye, who fairly rush things, I do, because I have a very large life out of my sewing room, I like to get things done. Done to me is better than perfect. So I'm just saying this, I just thought this was a very fascinating exercise, that they actually critiqued my work. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Now, my next quilt that I had, she is so pretty. And they said, she's so pretty. The next quilt that I made, that I'm going to be doing a tutorial on, is my Color Madness. And, oh, it's so heavy. So much fabric in this one. This I'm going to be doing a small tutorial on, this big, because this took me it didn't take me forever. Again, I did it quickly, but it's very time consuming and so much fabric that I'm just going to do a small tutorial. You can't see it there, but I can see up close that this is not done great. It's really not. So pretty. The impact of it is so beautiful. My sewing construction leaves much to be desired. Not my construction, my finishing leaves much to be constructed. And it's fascinating, my report card on this quilt, my Color Madness quilt. Again, I was sort of surprised because I sent a detailed photograph that it was accepted. When we go to do the tutorial on this quilt method, you will find that to get this point where we turn our biased edge frame here, the white frame, unless it's done in the construction phase perfectly, unless you iron the white frames, we'll get to that in the tutorial, and make this point absolutely perfect. I mean, within a hair's breadth of a stitch. It's almost impossible to have this point rolled and then join 4 of them together and make a perfect point. And when I do my tutorial, I'm just going to do it like I do it, how I construct it. I'm not going to try to achieve perfection, because to me, the overall quilt is very pretty. Now, my critique in this critique in this quilt, again, E for excellent, V for very good, G for good, S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement. My artistic impression was good. My use of design and pattern in the quilt top was good. My use of color and fabric was very good. And I thought, well, I hope they think that's very good, because there's a heck of a lot of fabrics in here, and they're pretty and they're bright, and I didn't repeat any of them except the polka dot background. Every single square that you see is different, pretty colors. The degree of difficulty is very good. Wow. The quilting design, again, is S. And there's hardly any quilting on this. The innovation and creativity is satisfactory. There's hardly any quilting on this. All I did was between these, I just did a straight stitch. It only took me about an hour and a half. There's no quilting. As you can see, these bits sort of puff up. It's just a straight stitch on the background polka dot. So it just creates a, oh, there's my label. It just creates a grid about every 3 inches. No degree of difficulty in quilting. There's no fancy free motion quilting. Now my piecing and the workmanship for this quilt, my piecing and applique, my piecing, N needs improvement. Absolutely. Is it a pretty quilt at the end of the day? I love it. Is it finished? Is it done? I love it. Is it perfect? Far from it. And as I said, I was surprised when it was accepted into the quilt show. When it's hanging up on the wall, oh, it's so pretty. If you go up close, my workmanship needs improvement. I am the first to say, slow down, if I wanted to. Slow down. Be more careful. Be more precise. Be more perfect. Do I need to do that? No, because I made a really pretty quilt. But the judging, I think, is fascinating. The quilting technique is satisfactory. Even stitches, that's satisfactory. And the finishing, which has surprised me. The borders, the edges, the binding, the corners, and the backing were satisfactory. Now, the judges' comments. The corners should be aligned. The corners meaning these points here. They're not aligned. Some of them are. Some of them are better than others. A great use, and then commendation. Great use of color and polka dot fabrics. How lovely. And it's a difficult pattern to execute well by machine. If anybody, and it is, if anybody knows, this is a cathedral windows cheater. Look up cathedral windows from 1930, 1940. It was done by hand. And it's even difficult to achieve precisely by a master craftsman by hand, let alone by a machine, by someone doing it quick because I have to go to the bathroom or something. So I was just fascinated with my report cards, and they are spot on and encouraging. You know, they told me what my quote was, not what was wrong with it, what it was, and then there was commendation. However, I got a and again, this happens all the time. I understand it. Haters are going to hate. I had gotten a comment from somebody who had actually been to the quilt show and had seen this quilt. Oh no, had seen this quilt here. And if you watch the video, I jokingly, say, oh, take that yellow ribbon and put it next to my quilt. Of course I'm not going to do that. Jen and I have fun, we lark about, we have a good time, we laugh, we joke. Well, somebody commented, said, did you actually see and examine the quilt next to yours that got the yellow ribbon? Well, of course I did. It was fantastic. It was an applique. It looks like a window, stained glass window, sort of. It was a needle turned applique. Unbelievable. Perfection. Deserved that yellow ribbon 1,000%. It was fabulous. And then it was hanging next to my girl. I had some bindings, machine, my raw edge is a little bit messy. But I have such a pretty quilt. So the judges got it right. But the judges were so kind. The comment that I got was snarky. And I thought, that was unnecessary. That's unnecessary. Snarky comments. By all means, I can take critique because I get it. I think I could be a ribbon winner, patting myself on the back, if I so desired, if I so wanted to. If I wanted to spend, and as you saw, there were quilts at the quilt show that took, on the blurb next to the thing, that took 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to make. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And I guess the point of this little video exercise is to thank you, people who have so much love for me, really, who say, oh, my quilts are so beautiful, and you should have worn a ribbon. I shouldn't have. But are my quilts beautiful? They are. And what I'm saying this is to you for is whatever you want it to be, whether you want your quilt to be done, awesome. Whether you want your quilt to be perfect, fantastic. You do what you want to do. And as women, we need to build up and encourage. And I found this, hand on my heart, very encouraging. Very encouraging. Was I bummed like, oh my God, I didn't get excellent, I didn't get very good. I did think, just for the one thing, I thought my artistic impression on her was very good. I got it good. I got it satisfactory. And I thought, I liked my Patty C. And you guys did too. I had to laugh at that. I thought, I thought she was cool. But anyway, 99% of this is absolutely spot on. I'm not a ribbon winner. I don't even know if I want to try to achieve to be a ribbon winner. I love to quilt. I love to chat as I quilt. I love to show you guys, hence this little thing and that little thing. Just as an aside, my camera clicked off, you must excuse me. This is an aside which I think is very interesting. On this actual quilt pattern, you can go on Pinterest or Google it, this sort of fake cathedral windows quilt. Because it's such a difficult pattern to machine, to get absolutely precise on these four corners here. A lot of people, no, they don't cheat. They cover up this intersection of four seams with a small circle of fabric or perhaps a button. And then it, you know, the actual stitching here is perfect. And then you come to a beautiful little button. And as I was working on it, I'm like, oh, my points really don't match there, or my intersections don't match. I'm not about to add 10 million pounds more weight with buttons on every single thing that I'd have to sew on. Or a piece of fabric, I could not be bothered. Maybe on a small pillow, if your intersections don't match, you could do that. Something decorative, a few buttons here and there, something, but I didn't do that. And so, hence, my quilt workmanship needs improvement. Absolutely, absolutely. And this, as I said, I find very encouraging. What I don't find encouraging is snarky people who criticize. This is a constructive critique. I don't appreciate criticism of anybody doing anything in the quilting world. There's enough hatred, there's enough horribleness, there's enough evil in the world, and we're making a pretty quilt. So if you are in a group, or you know a person or an individual who puts your technique or your craftsmanship down, ain't nobody got time for that. This is, as I always say, this should be upbuilding. We as women should upbuild each other. The horrible comments that have been made to me, to others. I belong to Facebook groups, and oh my word, there are set rules. You need to use a walking foot. I'm like, well, I don't use a walking foot. Never used a walking foot. I make pretty quilts. Not excellent quilts, but I never used a walking foot. If you need to use a walking foot in your quilting, awesome. But don't make a hard and fast rule. And I suppose that's why I'm hesitant to maybe quilt with others. I've never really quilted with others. As you know, I have a large family, and I've been surrounded by a million people my whole life. I like sewing by myself. I go in my room, I put my music on, I'm by myself, I'm not with kids now, I'm not changing babies, I'm by myself, and I enjoy the quiet, the solitude, and the happiness that I get from quilting by myself. A lot of people like to join guilds. They have quilting sewing groups, sewing bees. Awesome, that is fantastic. Personally, that's not for me because of my life's situation. But if I was ever in a quilting group where I felt the slightest bit criticized or looked over my shoulder, the term is called loosely quilt police, that snottily or snidely discourage somebody because they're not up to their caliber and they're thinking they're helping, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. We have to encourage everybody. And I just wanted to share with you how much I was encouraged. How much I was encouraged by these lovely judges who have a time of it. Oh my goodness, they're judging 600 quilts. They actually took time to look at my quilts and gave me an absolutely fair assessment of my 2 quilts. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought, it's so cool. That is so cool. I never got that. I didn't get it with, I wonder what they would have said with Cheryl My Elephant. Because I think Cheryl My Elephant, it was a pattern, a foundation piece pattern. I would have loved it. I wonder, because it's the same organization, Mancuso. And she was hanging up in Pride of Place. As you saw, we went to see Cheryl My Elephant. I didn't get this. So I just thought that was interesting. That these 2 quilts, because I think Cheryl My Elephant is made better. And these are the ones they did. But I'm thrilled to have my quilts back. My husband's like, I think she'll be for sale. My husband's like, I want to keep this, and I'm like, he really likes this quilt. He was with me. So anyway, my next video or so, whenever I have a chance to put it together, I'm going to be doing a small tutorial on, say, a pillow, maybe a 20-inch pillow, because this has been done, and there's a pattern for it from the Midnight Quilt show from Angela Walters. I used her tutorial to do this. I changed it up quite a bit though. So I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do this, and maybe I'll slow down and try to get these points right, but you'll see, very, 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 very hard to get if you're not absolutely within 1 stitch. If that floats your boat, awesome. It doesn't mind. So anyway, I got my quilts back, and again, I thank you, wonderful people, my adoring friends on YouTube who take the time to give me such wonderful, wonderful comments. And I jokingly said, you should have all been the judges. Nah. I was just thrilled to be accepted next to the works of art. I was absolutely thrilled, and it was absolutely awesome and perfect. So anyway, I'll go. Hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you when I do. And again, thank you so much. See you later.